Hello. Welcome, engineering fam. I am your host, the Elevated Engineer. So today, as promised, I am going to be doing a review of Injustice. Gotta be honest, man. I got to be honest. I'm definitely making an adjustment to my mic a little bit. It's a little bright though, ain't it? Turn that down a little bit. Okay. There we go. I was very disappointed. But I'm not just someone who watches this type of stuff. I'm actually, if you can't tell, a fan. Oh God. Okay, so let's get right into it. First of all, terrible pacing. Now, this is coming from the perspective of someone who actually read all the books, which I have said this in the past. Injustice wasn't supposed to be this good. It really wasn't, but it came out like it was really good because really Injustice, the comic book, was just coming out in conjunction with the game that came out. So the game was basically kind of a sequel, but kind of not, of the DC versus Mortal Kombat games that came out. And so the whole concept is, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but after a mission that includes the Joker, well, I'll give away this first part. Like, the Joker ends up taking Lois Lane away from Superman. Lois Lane dies. Okay. As a result of that, Superman basically becomes a world dictator, and basically starts locking down the world in his own version of justice, as you can say. So that's kind of the concept of the whole thing. And then Batman ends up taking the opposite side, and they basically have a war between each other over ideals. I mean, it's pretty standard, but it was in the comic books, it was logical. So when it comes to the movie, first of all, when they announced that there was gonna be an Injustice movie, I was like super excited, right? Because I love the books. But when they announced that there was only going to be one movie, then I started saying, that might be an issue. You can't really do Injustice in one movie. And considering that they had multiple parts for the Batman, the Long Halloween, and the Dark Knight. Was it the Dark Knight? The one that was based off the 1980s one where Batman is older. He's maybe in the 60s or so, and this is near future. I think it's a Dark Knight Returns. I think so. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, okay. So if they're gonna do Injustice, they're gonna do 3 parts. 2, 3, at least 2 parts. Like, come on, like at least 2. But they decided to cut it down to 1 movie, and when they said that, I was just like, this is not. I don't think it's gonna turn out great. So in terms of pacing, the movie moves very fast, and it cuts out a whole lot of character development, a whole lot of story telling that definitely need to be put in there, and it really kind of shows. So even if you didn't read the comic, which I would imagine most people who are probably going to watch it didn't probably read the comic book, because there was like Injustice 1 and there was Injustice 2. You can see that it moves at a really fast pace, and it's, yeah. So they basically, I think if I had to guess, I would say they probably cut out about 75 to 80% of the story, and that really shown through. Like, you really seen, for example, characters like Flash. Flash has such a pivotal role, because at the end of the day, if you know, you know, Flash is the heart of the Justice League, more or less. So they missed a really good opportunity to utilize Flash. They switched some characters around, which really didn't even make sense, and it really was not. It really didn't do Injustice justice. See what I did there? I know, corny. But another thing that was really disappointing is the underutilization of characters. They really didn't show Superman, like, other than him losing Lois Lane, there really wasn't any motivation for him to go as far as he did. And if you just watch the movie, you be like, okay, I get that he's pissed off, but he seems like he's just having a temper tantrum. In the comics, is a lot more deeper than that, and that's something that they really missed out on. It was really like Superman's having a temper tantrum, and Batman's there to kind of, bring him back to his senses. But in a comic book, it's a lot deeper than that. Like, Superman goes through a lot of philosophical, type shit. Like, he really gets deep into the concept of doing justice and what does that mean. Like, and also, high-speed chess. We missed out on high-speed chess. Man. That was something that was in a comic book that was really kind of cool to see. Flash and Superman Flash learning a game of chess, and then he and Superman discussing, his take, his philosophical take on how they should met out justice or what have you. So we missed that from the comic book, and that was one of the highlights when they're playing chess. Check. So I mean, don't get me wrong, the movie wasn't all bad. It has some good parts. Like, I love the conversation between Superman and Mr. Terrific about what is lawful and what isn't. There's a really good kind of difference of opinion they have when Superman goes to Mr. Terrific and he's like, "Hey, I want to get rid of all guns." And then Mr. Terrific was like, "You're never going to get rid of all guns." And he was like, "Well, no, but we can get rid of most of them." And then Mr. Terrific is like, "Well, we can get rid of all guns, but how about cigarettes?" And Superman's like, "What?" He's like, "Well, what about cigarettes?" He was like, "Cigarettes kill more people than guns." Why don't we get rid of those too? Superman's like, you know what I mean. He's just like, well, what about drunk drivers? Drunk drivers kill more people than guns. Then we gotta start locking them up too. He was just like, well, what's your point? He was like, you know what I mean. Like, where's the line? Where do we stop? You know, where do we stop? Because at the end of the day, we're just a dictatorship. You know, if that's the case. So that was actually a really good conversation. That's actually in the comic book, but it was different. It was with a different character, and the point was still made. It still got there, but you know, a lot of those concepts, man, they really could have used. Like, one big thing about the comic that was different from the movie was the escalation of force. I mean that every time Superman would do something, Batman would do something, and then it would just keep going up, and the power would go, you know, more, get higher. And we got to use this character to combat this character. We got to use Trigon to battle Mixie. Like, it would get up, like universe ending in power. Like, it got like ridiculous, but it was so cool because you got to see, like, oh yeah, it's the escalation of force, what happened. So that got pretty good. Also, don't forget, one thing that really irritated me is, man, they didn't give Superman, like, when Superman in the Injustice comic got the yellow ring of fear, that shit was dope, man. That shit was dope. And it just like I said, it kept going higher and higher after that. Like, Superman gets the yellow ring of fear, so he's a Yellow Lantern and Superman, and he's a savage. Like, that shit was dope. So they really didn't use the characters right. There's a part where where Wonder Woman's like, you know, she kind of comes on to Superman or whatever, and he's just like, oh, let's just be friends. Like, there was a lot more to that. So the ending terribly rushed. If you didn't understand, you like, okay, why didn't they just do that in the first place? I don't want to give it away. It was very rushed. You kind of seen it coming, and of course I seen it because I know the ending. But if you didn't, So man, DC. This was supposed to be the one. What do I mean? Like, this was supposed to be the movie that definitively showed Superman, who has unchecked power, and this would show really what could definitely happen if a guy like Superman ever, you know, was like, fuck it, you know. So but this was supposed to be the one that was just like, yo, like the way Flashpoint Paradox, when that one came out, man, that shit went so hard. And the last one, the Justice League, I think it was Doom. That one was really good too. That was like, oh wow, they really did it. But this one was just like, to me, it seemed more, instead of like trying to bring the comic, you know, to the screen, it felt more like an easy like little way to get money, and it just wasn't that well executed, and it suffered. And now it's not like they can really, unless they do a Snyder type cut, which I hope they do. Oh my god, that would be great. If they did that, that would completely redeem them. Like, you know what, guys, let's make a part 2 or part 3, you know, because this was just, I feel like it was rushed. It was completely rushed, and it wasn't, you know, it was just like, yo, let's get a quick little, you know, and anybody who knows about the Injustice comics knows, like, if you know me, man, oh my god, like, love it. So I mean, this one was like the Death of Superman, which, by the way, let me be perfectly clear. Death of Superman, in my opinion, is up there with Brand New Day for me. Death of Superman was the last Action Comics I ever bought because I hated it that much. The biggest cop out, the biggest gold rush bullshit concept ever. DC has no balls, none. Injustice reminded me of the Death of Superman because that was so. That was another one that they just cut completely short. Like, if you're going to release these movies, you need to do them in parts. Like, you can't just release a little hour and a half movie for, like, Injustice was like 3 years long. Like, it was like probably 36 issues, man. It was Injustice 1, Injustice 2, like it was a lot. I don't remember exactly how many issues it was, but it was a lot. And if you're not gonna do it right, then don't do it. Like, this is DC's bread and butter is their animation. To be honest, I mean, they're so hit and miss with their movies. Like, I mean, granted, they've definitely gotten better, and y'all need to leave Henry Cavill as Superman and stop playing. You're fucking up your shit for no reason. I swear, the WB DC executives gotta be the worst executives in the entire industry of this, comic book movies or comic book media type stuff. They gotta be the worst. They really are. It took how long to get Batman and Superman on screen? Going on a rant. I'm sorry. Okay, so in conclusion, I'm going to go ahead and give this a 6 out of 10. That's the best I can do for this. That is just because the animation and the action was pretty good. And go see it for yourself and judge. I hope you're not as disappointed as I was. Yeah, they could have did a lot better. So, that being said, engineering fam, thanks again. Oh yeah, of course. Please subscribe, like this video, because I'm sure, as you all know, it helps the algorithm. It helps me be able to spread more of my messages. Share it. Leave a comment if you want me. Do you agree with me or not? Okay, leave a comment and voice your opinion. I appreciate it. Engineering fam, I'm the host, the Elevated Engineer. That's my review. That's it.